Okay, so I was talking about me self-sabotaging myself during my spiritual trip, spiritual journey. And how did I self-sabotage myself? I self-sabotaged myself for much of my 15 months of spiritual tripping by not cleaning my mind out, not getting rid of all of the emotional baggage that was left in my mind from what had previously played out prior to me leaving the life that I was leaving to embark upon the trip. I had to leave back behind some things in my life. I had to basically start a new life, start a new phase of my life, and I had to leave some people behind. And at, at this point in my life, I don't like it. When I leave people behind, I basically wipe my life clean because I live alone. I live in foreign lands, and wherever I go, that's where I make family. When I meet you, I turn you into my family. I turn you into who I've known forever. So, for me, I never meet a stranger. I always make a new sister. I always make a new brother. I always make new members, no matter where I go. But the sabotage mostly was from thinking about karma, some things that I had done to people, like recently, like prior to that time recently, and also the things that those people had done to me. And I'm not talking like just like really evil, harsh stuff. And like a lot of this was surrounding love, and they say that all's fair in love and war. And when you're talking about love, you have to make decisions. You have to follow your heart, and everyone can't be pleased. And I think that everyone, myself and the parties involved, I think that everyone was doing the best that they could do. I think no one had any like horrible intentions. I know I didn't. But I do also believe that some people tried much harder than others to make things work and see the bigger picture and see things for what they really were and see things for how much potential they actually had. But these thoughts haunted me. They demonized me for months and months and months. It was hard to like concentrate, read. It was hard to talk to people and like just develop a friendship because in the back of my mind it's just like haunting me and just it's stuck back there. And it's like being in a prison. And all of this came to a climax about 8 months into my spiritual trip. I reached a climax. And that was around the time I made the video called Venus Retrograde. Something, something, something. It's about 7 months ago. And at that time, there was a Venus retrograde in Scorpio, which happens about every 8 years. And even 8 years prior to that, I was at a low point in my life. So at that time, I was at a really low point in my life. And even 8 years prior to that, I was also at a very, very low point at my life. So those Venus retrogrades in Scorpio, woo, I'm seeing the pattern. But during that time, the I was really vibrating low, very low, like for like a month during that time when those planetary lineups were happening. I I went into deep, deep, deep depression. I haven't been that. I don't think I've ever been that depressed in my life. And I was to the point where I was crying every day, almost every day, just crying. And I wanted, at that point, I was doing and wanting to do and feel anything that could take the pain away from me for a couple of minutes, an hour, just get me through to the next day. And I was doing low vibrational thing. Like if I had access to like some harsh drugs, maybe I would have did some harsh drugs. But lucky for me, I was in Vietnam, and I didn't know how to get access to anything like that. So I was okay. I was okay as far as that, but I was still I was drinking excessively, smoking cigarettes. Never smoked cigarettes in my life. Went through my whole life not smoking cigarettes, but at that time I was smoking. I was smoking like a chimney, and just doing all kinds of like low vibrational behavior. Just just moment to moment, moment to moment. And luckily at that time, I had a friend that I made like 5 months prior to that. I met this friend through another friend. She was dating my friend, and like they met each other like through me kind of, and she lived like 7, 8 hours away within the same country that we were in, Vietnam, and it turns out that she had like a similar vibration to me. Like I was vibrating low. I'm not saying she was vibrating low, but she had a strong connection to low vibrating people. And what I mean by that is it made her feel good. It made her feel needed to help really low vibrating people, isolated people. And at that time I was one of those people. But for like a couple of months, she talked to me on the phone for a couple of hours daily, which is I really needed this. It was God sent this person. She was my angel at that time, and it was purely platonic. It was a pure friendship. There's nothing more, and that made it even more valuable because I've had only one other person like that in my life where it wasn't a relationship. It was purely platonic, and I had like strong spiritual connection to that person. And that last person that I had, it was like childhood. So this was a really special occurrence, real special thing. And she talked me through all of this, and it was good. And I decided to leave the area where I was, because the area where I was, I actually took a couple of jobs there. And at that point in my life, I had made a decision to stay away from any low vibrating people or people of low moral standards. And I came across a couple of jobs where I ran across such people, and it made me just abandon those situations right away. And maybe I was like overly sensitive to it, and maybe I jumped too quick. But at that point in my life, that's where I was. But I left those situations. I actually worked for like 4 months actually. And I left those situations, and I went to be with my friend. She was actually like 12 hours down south, so she's closer to the sun. And being closer to the sun was actually like a really good thing for my mental health and my sanity. So I took that train, I went down, and I met her. She would, when she would get off work, we would meet every day and just hang out. and we would like sip wine. I'm a person that like wine. I got her liking wine. Uh, I exposed her to like all this spiritual stuff. The the things I talk about on this video, like the spiritual side of life. And she's like a no nonsense person, but I really got her interested in this stuff, and we even came to realize that she's a very, very, very spiritual person, even more spiritual than I am. And I think I introduced her to that. And, what she taught me was that like how to be sympathetic and more empathetic and understand people better and be less selfish. So it was a big time trade off. But once I got to her, she would meet me, and the other part of her personality was that I love so much, that was so good, was that she was the type of person who, she was always happy. She was always comfortable with her own company, always dancing. You could say anything and nothing would be taken like out of the proper context. It was always just fun. She was the type of person that brought people together. And that's why I came there. I wanted to meet that person. I want to be around that person. That's what I needed in my life. I didn't need to be in a dark place where I was. But she didn't know how to turn that stuff off. She just, upon my arrival, she continued to talk about her friends on their deathbeds, suicidal friends. I think she had a lover who had like a lot of people in his family supposedly just like were dying like every week, and it was like unbelievable. Like listening to it, I questioned how true it was and everything. And like I asked her, I begged her. I said, I can't handle this. I'm pulling myself out of a low place in my life. I really can't be exposing myself to like this type of listening and feeling these types of things. I need a break from this. This is not the time, please. But she didn't know how to turn it off, and I end up responding to her in such a way where it came off kind of harsh, and she ended up making a situation, she ended up taking something that I said and making it completely about her and me against her and that type of thing. And it just turned into something just really what it wasn't. And long story short, we no longer talk to each other anymore. And it was such a beautiful connection, spiritual connection. And like it's so sad that had to end. But I left the country quietly, and I continued on my spiritual trip. And I went to a couple of other countries. And one country I went to like 4 months ago, actually. I was in Cambodia, and I was in my bungalow, in nature, like the bare minimums. Had a mosquito net over my bed, had electricity. My little house was on stilts, but sleep was incredible. Sleep was incredible. And it was more incredible than being in like a luxury apartment. But at that place, I met another person that it was instant chemistry, instant connection. And like I wasn't walking around talking to people because I was still in a relatively low vibrational energy where I didn't know where my life was going, and I didn't really want to like deal with anyone. I just wanted to just read and just stay within my mind and just stay within the comfort of myself. But I met this person, and it was, I felt like it was like I already knew this person. We already knew each other, and it was like instant chemistry. But meeting this person, it was like meeting a person I had met before. It's kind of like deja vu, kind of, I guess, because she, even like her age was the same age as this person that I was with before, that I grew close to, and it went sour, age was the exact same. And her personality and everything, it was very similar. Like the things, like we began spending like lots of time together. We started traveling together for like a month, like just two strangers just suddenly connect and just like start doing everything together. It was like that. It was real unusual to me. Like I'm wondering, like why does she feel so comfortable with me? Why do I feel so comfortable with her, even though she's a stranger? Like I have so many questions that I asked myself about it, but I just went with it because the feeling I could feel this person. I felt a connection with this person, and I trusted it. But like even like we spend so much time together. Like you see the person when they wake up. You see the good, the bad, the ugly. And when you spend a lot of time with a person, you see them when they're hungry. You see their worst side. So you get the truth right away. And I saw like the ugly things in her, and she saw some of the ugly things in me. And the ugly things I saw in her were like the exact. She was like almost it's like the same person that I was with before. It was that same person, and I kind of learned things about that situation. Enlightened me on like what had happened when I was with that person before. And not to like put her in a box and say she's just the same as that other person, because she was truly a really incredible, unique individual, and I'm so happy to have crossed paths with her. And what I got from her, what I took from her, what I learned from her from spending this month with her day by day was she was much younger than me, so she helped me see that I wasn't taking life as seriously as I should. I wasn't enjoying my life as much as I should enjoy my life, and I needed to be more serious and embrace and enjoy things and not just let life live me. I realized that by through her, and honestly I don't really know what she was learning from me, but apparently she was learning something because I could tell she was like intrigued by some of the things I would say and like just our interactions or the way I would handle things. And it's really big lesson. So I guess my whole point to all of this, and I'll close the video up by saying this, is that what began as like a spiritual trip, education, it turned into something else. The whole focus, the whole theme of my whole trip ended up being about me developing deep soul connections with people, which it's going to influence what I talk about from here on out. But I want to keep it mysterious. I want to keep it unpredictable, and I want you to keep me unpredictable by giving responding, giving me feedback, telling me what you think, how you feel about the things I talk about. And right now I'm in a different country. I'm in Seoul, South Korea. Like I learned some really important lessons during the trip also about taking other parts of my life seriously, such as your work. That like during the trip I was like even questioning, like, should I be slaving a 9 to 5 job, and am I doing the job that I'm here on this earth for? Like, am I following my true purpose? Am I following my true path? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I supposed to even be working? Period. Like, what am I do? Like, there was so many questions. But I'm here. I'm back. I've been here 3 weeks. I've been working, and I've been so like enthusiastic about my work. I've been so happy to go to work every day, and I have like a whole newfound purpose. When I go to work, and like I see things so differently now. Like even if you have a job that you're not happy with, proud of, or in like passionate about, you are providing a service to humanity, to your community. And by you not putting your all into it, even if you don't love it, you're not passionate about it, you're not only robbing your community, but you're robbing yourself, because any experience that anything you learn or experience through that job is going to carry over to the rest of your life, and each part of your life is an experience that you're supposed to learn from and grow from. So when you think you're cheating, like your job or cheating anything, you're actually cheating not only life, but you're cheating yourself. And this whole thing, life, it's it's there's no one part. Everything is everything. It's all one whole. And you shouldn't cheat any of it. Appreciate and love all of it. But I'll end the video here, and I hope this wasn't too boring and or too weird. But thank you so much, and I love you. I love you, and I hope you love yourself. Love yourself, and I'll see you next time. Stay tuned. I'm gone.